What is up, Packer fans? What is up, football fans? Who's ever out there listening? What is up, guys? Let's get into it. So, there's the ever popular question right now of should the Packers fire Joe Barry? Okay. So, before I get into it, guys, take a second to subscribe, hit the subscribe button. It'd mean a lot. Anyways, that being said, I listened to a podcast today. It's Pack a Day podcast with Andy Herman, and he had the exact title that I have: Should the Green Bay Packers fire Joe Barry? He took 40 minutes to explain. He was very politically correct. He didn't want to step on toes. He didn't want to say the wrong thing. So he really tiptoed around the whole topic of should the Packers fire Joe Barry. He gave arguments to why they should. He gave arguments why they shouldn't, and all of that. Okay, so long story short, Andy Herman pretty much said, "Hey, listen, you hate to see anybody lose their job in this industry. I really don't want to see anybody lose. But hey, Andy, dude, here's the thing: is that's what happens when people sign up for any professional sports, whether they're an athlete or a coach or whatever. Okay." That's what they're signing up for because if you're not performing and you're not doing your job and you're not either as an athlete, you're not putting out the performance you need to be let go, or as a coach, if you're not getting your players ready to play, they need to be let go. Okay. So I get it. Versus the Detroit Lions, you could point your fingers in any direction from coaching to quarterback to defense to wherever, and you would be spot on because they were not ready to play the Detroit Lions. This is a Detroit Lions team that historically has not been good, and you lost 4 games in a row to this Detroit Lions. They came in to your home, you're the underdogs, and they came in and just punched you in the gut. And then as their coach said, I mean, when we're down, we're gonna bite you. They bit off every kneecap on the Packers play, all their players, their coaching staff, everybody. Okay. They were way outmatched. That being said, could the Packers turn it around? Okay. I think they absolutely can turn it around this season. Okay. So he doesn't think that the Packers should fire Joe Barry unless something drastically bad happens to them. But something drastically bad has been happening to them is that every team that goes against them is running all over the Green Bay Packers. So his argument was, hey, if the Packers are going to let Joe Barry go, they should have done it, this last season, going into this season, which I do agree with that. Okay. So, yeah, if the Packers should have let him go, and because they didn't, now it creates this, okay, you can't really change defensive systems and all of that stuff. I get that. Okay. So, whoever if they let Joe Barry go, one of these next guys is going to have to be the next man up. Okay. So, just like in football, if you have an injury, it's next man up. Okay. So, pick a guy. Okay. Just like you're going to just spin in a room and pick a guy, pick one of these guys. Okay. Because here's the thing is one of these guys is going to end up bringing a fresh new take. Yes, it is going to be under the Joe Barry system, but it's going to when you make a drastic change, whether it be a next man up and then to a player like look at the Jets, right? Aaron Rodgers is out. So you can't just lay over and die. You got to pick up the pieces and do what you can. Okay. So here's the thing. The Packers are 2-2, second place in the division. This is a division that that is very much up for grabs. Okay. Yes, the Detroit Lions looked way better than anybody so far in that division, but there's a lot of football to be had. And historically, if you look at the Detroit Lions, they find ways to lose. So Green Bay Packers, I think, absolutely should go in a different direction coaching this season as far as a head coach for the defensive system, right? So Joe Barry is got to be fired. He's got to be let go, and one of these guys should be the next man up. So Joe Barry was interviewed today, and he was just press conference of like, okay, Joe, what should you do different? What are you going to do different? Why can't you stop the run? All those type of questions. Let's take a listen as to what Joe Barry had to say today.
Are you equipped to put your foot down? And it was bad last year. Heck, it was bad before you got here, right? I mean, this is teams had bad run defenses for years now. Yeah. Are you guys? Is the mentality there? Are you equipped to actually do that? Personnel wise.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But I think when you're in a type of game like that, you do have to, be able to do something structurally, just from a system standpoint, and we can and we will, and when we're in those situations, we have to do it. So those are all things we're working through right now. But it's because every game is different. You're not going to defend 40 runs in every game.
Okay, so a lot of things to break down there. Okay, so Joe Barry, he started out by saying, yeah, they've got the personnel, they've got the people, they've got the athletes on the field that can stop for sure, 100%, but they've got to put the defensive schemes and systems in play to be able to do that. And he hasn't done that. And he's like, but that's what we're going to do. We're going to do that. Now, why would you wait until now? Why would you wait until now? I know you're always evolving and you're always looking to get better and you're always looking for room to grow and make, but to be able to be like, hey, listen, not every team's going to be running against us like 40 times or any of that type of stuff. Okay. So Chicago Bears didn't run 40 times against us. They ran 29 times, and they had 122 yards. Then versus Atlanta, they ran 45 times. So they ran 40 times and they got 211 yards of rushing. Saints have a very depleted run game, and there were out Jamal Williams and Alvin Kamara, and they ran 22 times for 77 yards. So the Packers run defense looked good in that game, but come on, give me a break. Did the Detroit Lions ran 43 times, very similar to the Atlanta game, and they put up exactly the same amount of number, 211 yards rushing. Here's the thing. Okay. So you look at this upcoming game on Monday night, you got the Raiders. Raiders have run the ball 23 times, 15 times, 19 times, 29 times. Josh Jacobs is an absolute stud of a runner. Okay. He's only put up 48 yards, minus 2 yards, 62 yards, and 58 yards. I can tell you right now, going into that game, you know what I'm thinking he's going to put up? They're going to be rushing about 40 times, because any smart coach would be rushing about 40 times. So Joe Barry, get ready for it, because guess what? You are going to see them running about 40 times on you, okay? Because you've got to cover Devontae Adams. So that being said, be ready for it, Joe Barry, because, plan for them running on you about 40 times, because you've got a stud running back like Josh Jacobs, who's been held to under 63 yards and under 62 yards and under all season. But I can tell you right now, he's going to run for over 100 yards. Anybody knows that. So if you've got Josh Jacobs on fantasy, I highly suggest that you start him and do it in a big way. Here's the thing. David Montgomery of the Detroit Lions had 32 rushes for 121 yards, 3 touchdowns, career day. He's pumped up. He's been on the Bears team, and he's like, dude, I'm not used to beating the Packers. This is great. He's on cloud 9. I want that culture gone. I do not want the Detroit Lions thinking they have the upper hand on us. They sure did last week, but I want the Packers to do something different, and this could be that different thing to get their defense excited, to get them until they can come up with a longer term solution after the season. But I absolutely think the Green Bay Packers need to go in a different direction. They do need to hire Joe Barry, and they need to do it now. Go Packers.